Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I feel the need to make all sorts of declarations of interest in this debate, having used sanitary products pretty much all of my life. But first of all, I wish to pay credit to the number of women who have over the years brought this subject to the House. Without women in this place, I am certain that this issue would never have been raised, although I am delighted to hear so many men interested in Europe here to talk about it tonight. It's a pleasure. Dawn Primarolo, a working-class woman, brave enough to dare to speak up of the taboo of women's periods in Parliament back in the year 2000, should be commended. Yeah. Today, when such topics are far easier for us to discuss, I have already received a number of sideways glances from colleagues around the estate when I spoke of the subject, and there is a certain desire to say the word products instead of tampons coming from the opposite side. So that I know that from speaking to the Right Honourable Member for Camberwell and Peckham today, that at the time it was considered vulgar and even shameful that Miss Primarola brought this subject forward. She was brave, and today our Brave Woman prize goes to my honourable friend, the member for Dewsbury. Because regardless of what has been said from across the House, doing nothing achieves nothing. It is completely ridiculous that women are being taxed even at a 5% rate for a product which, in my experience, is more than essential. Yeah. The fact that we still have this tax is probably in no small part down to the fact that most of the people in this House and in our sister parliaments all across the EU don't have wombs. The reason we must force the government to have this conversation with our European partners is because without force, I fear that the government will be too squeamish to talk about women's periods. But they shouldn't be. Every single person in this House only exists because their mother had a period. Today, in half-term, Parliament was teeming with children, my own doing knee slides in Portcullis House. All only exist because their mothers had periods. It is nothing to be scared of, nor should any man or woman ever feel that we shouldn't talk about periods. It may seem like a marginal change that would occur with this revision in taxation. However, it will make a huge difference to women in this country. Having worked in a women's refuge, I know that the things we had to stock up on the most because they presented a challenge to the budgets of our women in care were nappies, tampons and sanitary towels. I certainly will.
Would my honourable friend agree with me that the VAT is a very unequal tax and it is hitting the poorest women in our communities hardest?
I thank you for that intervention, and I would totally agree with my honourable friend that when you have no money left, having fed your kids and paid your bills, the cost of a product like Tampax is a real issue for people. Let me be clear. Tampons and sanitary towels are essential, and everyone in this House knows it. I won't tell of how I know this, I'm sure there are plenty of mishaps we could all talk about in this House, the women in this House. No doubt that have happened even on these benches. This tax is a tax on women and girls. I started my period when I was 10 years old. So I have paid this tax for 23 years. And if you will excuse the pun, it is a bleeding scandal.
Steve Baker.